don't believe we've ever had to do this in the history of this show, but it has been a bombshell morning at Hallis Hall. This is the CHGO Bears Podcast, and we are on early because there's so much to say. There's so much to fit into the show. We got Brian Baldinger joining us for the first time at noon, so we want to make sure we jumped on a little early here to discuss everything you may have missed or already heard from Hallis Hall this morning. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, Greg Braggs Jr., Lawrence Benedetto producing.
What's up?
Casey's nailing our social media right now behind the scenes. We got everybody scrambling here. Nick is out at Hallis Hall reporting on all this. Make sure you're following him at Nicholas Moriano for the latest, at CHGO_Bears for the latest. I think we'll get a hit from Nick at some point too. Gary Ross coming out the gate right away, $4.99 super chat. Is this starting to be as bad or worse than the Trestman era? I don't know how you could possibly look at this right now without feeling some type of Trestman vibes to it. It is week 3. The left tackle just went on IR. The right tackle, who's been promising, may or may not move left, right, who knows. Maybe they'll put him at center. The defensive coordinator may or may not still be the defensive coordinator. There's no update there. The quarterback is rightly questioning the coaching. I'm going to say questioning the coaching, calling out the coaching, word it however you want.
He went nuclear.
Justin Fields' press conference today was awesome. This is all going on. It is week 3. Wow. I've never experienced 13 years covering the Bears. I've said many times I've never seen this, whether it's about this, that, and that. This I've never seen. I've never seen this
Even
early.
the Trestman era, it took until the middle of the season for it to completely crumble.
But that's why I'm worried. You're playing the Chiefs this week. Is it you could have a 50 burger put on you.
And you've got the quarterback that you passed on and the coach that you ran out of here who are going to be making a mockery of you while they're beating your face in.
None of that matters to me.
We'll put the Chiefs down.
We're long past Mahomes, and nobody wants Matt Nagy back here. But that was both at the same time for me the best press conference I've ever seen a Bears quarterback have, and also the worst press conference when you think about exactly how we got to that point.
Yeah.
You unlocked him last year. He was playing free. We just heard Justin Fields, if you missed the press conference, talk about playing free 100 times, and then we had Matt Eberflus reacting to Fields after they switched the order, which was interesting too. Normally the coach goes first, then the quarterback. Here comes the coach.
Yeah, that was weird too.
Here comes the coach afterwards saying we want him to play free about, equal amount of times. They had him playing free, and then they apparently stopped having him play free and said go play in the pocket and made him into an incredibly uncomfortable quarterback to the point that everyone's turning at him and he's got to go in there and have a press conference and say, look, enough is enough. I got to be myself. I can't take this anymore. I got to play the way I know how to play, and I'm just going to do my thing, period.
So I think it's important for people to hear this from Justin, okay? So here's a good minute-long clip from Justin Fields talking about exactly what Carm's telling you about right now in case you missed it, and then we'll react. But here's Justin Fields just, minutes ago at Hallis Hall, basically.
Of course, things that I didn't like, I felt like, I wasn't necessarily playing my game. Felt like I was kind of robotic and, not playing like myself. So, my goal this week is just to, say F it and just go out there and, play football how I know how to play football. And that's not that includes thinking less and just going out there and, playing off of instincts rather than just of, so much, so to say, info in my head, data in my head, and literally just going out there playing football. I mean, just going back to it's a game, and that's it, because that's when, I play my best is when I'm just out there playing free and being myself. So I'm going to say kind of just bump all the, what I should do, what I, this and that, like pocket stuff, like I'm going to go out there and be me.
So, and then the follow-ups to that, Pat Finley asked, what does it look like when you're playing free? And he said, well, you're going to see. And then Courtney Cronin followed up and asked, basically, what is causing you to be thinking so much on the field? Be as robotic as he said. We said all this post. Everyone's been saying this, right? Yep. And then he confirmed all of it. So what is causing that? And then he sort of paused and he said it could be coaching. So first of all, let's acknowledge that. There's no question that is, at minimum, questioning the coaching you've received. What I love about how Justin Fields did this, though, is he also took responsibility for himself. Because he basically, if you really listen to how he was thoughtfully answering these tough questions and, quite frankly, tough answers, that's as respectfully as you could possibly call out a coach in a press conference. And he took ownership, too, in saying, they can give me all this information, but at the end of the day, I'm the one with the ball in my hands, and I have to make the right decisions there in those moments. So that part I liked. That part gives me a sense that relationships can still be held here together enough that this might not completely go off the rails. But, man, these are going to be an important few weeks.
Well, he's got to back it up. If he says you'll see, well, then we got to see. Because, for me, it's fair what he's saying. I had lost my mind on the postgame show about the coaching, so I understand where he's coming from. But at the same time, he's basically admitting when he's saying too much data in my head, this is your third year in the league. So you're essentially admitting that you can't take in what they're trying to coach you to do.
Well, Matt Eberflus made a point of saying it's a partnership. When Fields goes well, we're all going to get the credit. When it doesn't go well, we're all in it together too. I don't understand in this partnership how you didn't realize that you were feeding him too much information. That is not rocket science. You should have. Luke Getsy, who I like and I tend to think has talent and could be a very good coach in this league, but I'm extremely confused at this point how he didn't get that they were overloading him and making him uncomfortable. That should have been obvious.
But what I think you have to acknowledge here, too, though, is the quarterback told us, too, he didn't want to run as much. I think Fields...
They got fooled in the offseason.
Fields got fooled, too, though. And that's where I think... That's what I like about what Fields said today. Like, he took ownership of it himself. He said... And I think for very valid reasons. He knew he can't run as much. He's not gonna play 17 games a season if it was still. But I think they corrected together, the quarterback included. You know, he sat there and was like really trying to methodically become a pocket passer, and that's not what they needed to do. And this was some of the things that we were hinting on with our reporting going back to June, that like it didn't have to be that big of a correction. And to the point that after what you saw week one, that should have been enough evidence that you were overcorrecting. And instead, they did it even more because they obviously emphasized going down to Tampa. You need to stay in here longer. You have time. You need to. And instead, he missed wide open opportunities to run. So even from week 1 to week 2, it was an overcorrection. And regardless, I just love the quarterback understanding that it was a mistake. And he's saying, I'm going to go out there and be myself. Because he is too fucking talented for them to be wasted. This is not Mitch Trubisky. I'm going to say this again. He is too damn talented to have this go down the same road that all these other failed Chicago quarterbacks have gone down. And today should be viewed, in my opinion, as a positive realization of that by him, which is more important than anyone else. Him understanding that. But like you said, he's got to go back it up.
You got to back it up. You know, because to me, I can look at that and say, all right, this is a positive. But does Luke Getsy agree with it? That's the question. Because he's the one that has to call him the plays. And I promise you, Getsy thinks, no, this is on you. I'll show you all the tape where players are open. I'm trying to get you into the best possible situation you can be as a quarterback.
I disagree with you. I think that, at least to a point. I think that Luke Getsy is going to come up there tomorrow and take ownership of how he needs to be better.
Well, he has no choice because
he does have no choice.
He better because he didn't really last week.
Right.
Well, he has no choice because now that the line is clearly drawn in the sand, there were subtle hints here these first 2 weeks, but now that the line is clearly drawn in the sand, if things still don't change, then it becomes an either or that you have to pick who's going to either lose the play sheet or lose their starting quarterback job.
Right. They've got to get on board together. You can't tell me though that Luke Getsy's sitting there right now saying like, "Oh man, I was doing this perfectly, and he just and Fields just sucks, and I'm great." I think he's this is the first time.
You remember Matt Nagy? I mean, I know this isn't a Mitch Trubisky situation, but it was the same thing. Matt was certain that Mitch was the problem, and he was certain that if Nick Foles comes in, I'm gonna, and then he had to lose the play sheet. These guys have egos. We just had Tim Jenkins on yesterday where he talked about play callers and coaches having too big of an ego.
Excellent point, bringing up Nagy, because he definitely always believed that his system was going to work it, and what was so exhausting
until
at
his
that point
dying day.
Right. Still now.
He's
on his way to rooting Patrick Mahomes, at least not helping him. They put up 17 points last week. So, but look, I didn't think that Luke was, just because you saw him unlock him in week 7, through 10, I didn't think that he was Matt Nagy, that just you have to play this way in my system when I'm a first-time offensive coordinator, and I'm just going to try to turn you into Aaron Rodgers. It
just blows my mind that they didn't methodically move to what they are trying to develop him into. It
was like we're just like
it's 2.0 all
we're
over
flipping
again.
the whole thing, and it was like, no, let him play the way he needs to be playing, and then slowly, hey, next time you can do that. Maybe this it doesn't need to be this whole like. I'm going to sound like Adam Johns here, but the training camp and the offseason was just a waste of fucking time again.
Well, because it blows my mind.
It just feels like a waste of time.
Because the whole time at camp, I'm sitting here going, well, this isn't a fair representation of what the offense will be, because surely Justin's going to run within this offense. They don't do that at camp. And through the first 2 weeks, what we saw at camp was a representation of the offense. Him staying in the pocket and throwing little checkdowns, because that's all he did at camp. He never threw deep. Everything was short, and it would either be complete or incomplete, and never ran.
Well, they would throw it deep. It just never connected, or very, very rarely.
Correct, which is...
Right. Well, yes,
real quick. First of all, Drew loved your little rant there, Hoge. He said, let's effing go, Hoge. I mean, he said fucking.
I got you, Drew.
That's fine.
I got you.
But I just want to quickly note here, we're on early today for you guys. We have 1,000 people watching right now, 76 likes. Please hit the like button for me. Thank you.
Hit that like button if you're here for the first time, too, just because of the news of the day. Hit subscribe. Hang out with us. We're here every day at noon. We jumped on early today because of the news that came out. We got Brian Baldinger coming up. He's going to be joining us weekly going forward this season, which we're really excited about.
We had to get this out before we yelled at Baldy about it.
Yeah. Baldy would have been like, who the hell are these guys? Which he probably still will do. Couple other news items, though, before we get to Baldy. Big ones, too. Braxton Jones is going on injured reserve. Your left tackle. That's not good. That's not going to help.
Where did that come
from? I know. I was like, you guys said that like 20 minutes ago. I was like, wait, what? Like all this other shit's going on.
That got buried in everything else today. But Flus announced he's going on injured reserve with a neck injury. Asked if he's out for the year. He didn't really provide much more detail, which is concerning.
And then he was asked, are you considering moving Darnell Wright from right tackle to left tackle? And he said that we don't really want to do that with a rookie. We just get a guys comfortable over there. But, yes, we're talking about it.
Yeah, and I'd love to hear Brian Baldinger's thoughts on that here, too, in a second, because Darnell Wright struggled at left tackle in college, went to right tackle, and then was great and turned into the 10th overall pick in the NFL. So that's trying to flip him when he's had every single practice rep at right tackle here with that history behind him, too, seems like a
big ask
to do. But otherwise, you're talking about Larry Borum at left tackle. So I think we have Brian Baldinger right now at Baldy NFL on Twitter, and he's going to be joining us and really all of our All-City networks throughout the season. So we're really excited about this. Baldy, welcome in. It's great to talk to you. Thanks so much for being here.
It's my pleasure, guys. I know things are frustrating in Chicago right now. I hope I don't add to that frustration, but let's talk Bears. Let's do it.
So you had a couple breakdowns yesterday on Twitter that we all really enjoyed. I think Bears fans all, they would have loved that the plays were better, but they enjoyed your analysis of it. I don't know how up to speed you are with what just happened at Hallis Hall within the last hour. We were just talking about it, but Justin Fields just came to the podium for his weekly press conference and literally said, F it. I'm going to play freely. too much coaching, too many details. I'm too robotic. He admitted all these things. I'm too robotic right now, and I need to go play freely. I talked to the coaches about this. That's my goal this week. What's your reaction to hearing that?
Well, it's kind of alarming, because that's something that really should be between Luke Getsy and, the coaches. But I think players do this when they're beyond frustrated. And, the one play that kind of blew up that I put out there, it personified that. I mean, he's got the biggest pocket you could ever imagine. Jack Kincannon would love that pocket. I mean, you go back in the history of Bear quarterbacks, they would all love to be that well protected. And then he just froze. And he's got 4 open receivers, including Rashawn Johnson, who's got his hand up, just waving at him. And Tampa completely blows the protection. They're in zone coverage. And that's kind of probably what I thought Justin was doing, was he's just frozen. And then the result of the play was he put his head down, took a sack, which looks bad, for Darnell Wright or some of the other guys there, when really they protected as well as you could protect. And then, to counter it, I put the opening drive of the game on, which included a play action pass to start the game to DJ Moore. They never went back to the play again the rest of the day, but it's a good play against the blitz and it worked. But that was it. It was like the good and the bad, the absolute frustration where you go, this guy's better than that. Make the play, make the throw. And then you see him take the team down the field to start the game, and it's bing, bang, boom, they're in the end zone. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that Justin feels that way, but that's not a good sign from the coaching staff that he feels that way.
This is the dance Baldy that we always do in Chicago. Can the quarterback play? Yes, he can, or no, he can't. Is it the coaching that's the problem, or the guy just can't do it? I mean, we did that for Mitch Trubisky for his entire career here. We've done it basically my entire life as a Bears fan. If you had to boil it down, can Justin Fields, if coached properly, could he be a above average, top 15 quarterback in the NFL? Do you think he can?
I do. I do think he can. I mean, I've watched Jalen Hurts make leaps and bounds jumps. Now, I don't know. I know Jalen's work ethic, and I know Jalen personally. I don't really know Justin, and I'm not saying that he doesn't work like Jalen. I just know what Jalen is and how he's worked at it to get better. I'm watching Anthony Richardson, and I'm thinking there's no way this guy's going to have a chance to succeed. And the offense is just perfect for him, and it just makes sense. And I'm not saying Luke's isn't. But Justin isn't playing well. The offense isn't playing well. And at some point, it always comes back to the quarterback, that he's got to elevate the players around him, and he's got to play better. And so I feel like there is room for Justin, because I see signs of it. I see throws, and I see decisions, and I see him make certain reads. And I go, yes, I believe there still is an arc for him to go up, but you can't just do it for one drive or this drive. It's got to be on a consistent basis.
They talked to Matt Eberflus, followed up Fields' press conference by talking about partnership between the quarterback and the coach. Knowing what you know when it comes to the politics in a locker room, Justin's pointing fingers, coaches are pointing fingers at him through the press conferences. Who's going to be the one that gets the axe first if they can't figure it out together?
Well, this is a new regime. I mean, they gotta, you gotta have time to build it. But look, they've made some poor decisions. But I don't know. It's 2 weeks, so I'm not going to say who's on the hot seat, who's under the microscope, who's in the griddle right now. But it has to turn around pretty fast, because that spotlight's only going to get bigger. It is going to get hotter. If you lose 2 in a row in this league, I don't care who your team is. You're Sean Payton, you're 0-2, like the sky's falling. You go to 0-3, you're in the crypt, and fans start throwing dirt on you. So, and then the finger pointing really picks up. But you always have to at least give the team a chance to come out of it right now. But I don't know. Like, it's just not good. It's just it sounds bad, guys. You're there on top of it right now. I'm not. I'm just watching it, from the third floor in NFL Films, and it doesn't look good. But to say I'm going to play freely, well, it's got to be a partnership. Well, I mean, that's what a quarterback and coordinator's got to do. They got to be joined at the hip. You got to walk through the fire together. It can't be one guy's going to do it my way. I'm not going to listen to your way. That can't work.
So, Baldy, if it was, I don't mean to laugh, but if it's not bad enough that you already got finger pointing, you got to play the Kansas City Chiefs this week. Eberflus drops a bomb on us today that none of us were expecting, that Braxton Jones, the left tackle, is going on injured reserve. Asked if he might be out for the year. He's got a neck injury, yeah. And he asked if he's going to be out for the year. He didn't really sound confident one way or the other. So we know he's not going to be playing for the next 4 weeks at least, and he's not playing this week. So now you got that to deal with as well if you're Justin Fields. Larry Borum, I believe, would be the next guy up unless you wanted to move Darnell Wright over to the left side. I don't know if I would do that based on his college tape, but what's your reaction to hearing that, and what type of problem solving would you do?
Well, they basically drafted Darnell Wright to be the right tackle because they believed in Braxton Jones, right?
Yeah.
I've seen Darnell play left tackle. I've seen him shut out Trayvon Walker against Georgia. I mean, I've seen him play pretty good football at left tackle. Larry Borum, to my knowledge, has been more of a right tackle. I don't know, so I wouldn't want to move Darnell yet. I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't have to do that. I think, I mean, I haven't been out to, I don't know who gets to see the practices at Hallis Hall, but when I was up there, we really couldn't see very much. But it looked like Darnell was taking all the reps at right tackle. So he hasn't
taken any reps at left tackle since he got drafted.
Well, that's what I've kind of figured. So, they got him comfortable at right tackle outside of really one play against Shaq Barrett, an elite rusher. He played pretty good, to be honest with you, I thought, on Sunday against a really good front in Tampa. So I'd be hesitant to move him right now. I'd probably put Larry out there and just make sure that he gets a lot of help. Because if they put Shaq Barrett out there, or they put, some of these pass rushers they have, like, they can win one-on-one protections. They've got skilled guys. You better be ready to protect them. And then, at any given time, Todd Bowles has just got a blitz package that's second to none in this business.
I mean, you play the position, Baldy. How, if they did ask him to do it, what would be the biggest challenge for Darnell? Is it just simply the footwork?
Well, he's got to get used to, his left guard right now. So, that's, because you work together. So, you got to be able to see what you're going to do at that position, whether it's Cody is over there, whoever. You got to get working with them. You got to work with the tight ends. It's just the comfort between the communication on that side. I believe his footwork is going to be fine. He looked like I thought 2 years ago he played well at left tackle for the most part. At Tennessee they had a plan, and so he went over to the right side. But I think he knows how to set and get off the ball. Look at the ball with his right eye. Jump with his left eye on the man. I think he can do all that. It's just a question of getting comfortable with guys next to you. Twist stunts, blitzes coming off the edge, seeing it, recognizing it. It's just backwards. But I feel like he could do it, and it might be the best solution that they have.
When you talk about helping this quarterback out, I mean, nothing helps a quarterback out more than a good run game. And last year, the Bears set a franchise record in rushing yards. And then last week, they only ran the ball 12 times with their running backs. Roschon Johnson broke off that 30-yard run and only had one carry the rest of the game. And that was after in the first half. Why is Luke Getsy straying so far away from the running game? And shouldn't that be a staple in to try to fix this?
I feel like he didn't have an answer for Vita Vea inside, and they didn't have an answer for Vita. And just the interior strength of that defense. I feel like he thought their best way to win was on the outside. Now, yes, Rashawn got the big explosive play out of it, but I didn't feel like he thought that they could get enough of those by pounding the belly of that Tampa defense. Some people make that decision on Wednesday, and it's the wrong decision. So, they had a lot of negative plays. They had the penalties. They had the sacks. I mean, they had a lot of plays that they had to overcome, and it's hard to stay with the run game when you're in, those kind of predicaments.
Baldy, if there's any sliver positivity for this very tough matchup, I guess, in Kansas City
I have
this
no
week.
idea what you're going to say. Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs' offense hasn't been humming yet. I know I'm reaching. What have you seen from the Chiefs so far? And do you think? I mean, to me though, this seems like a get right game for them going up against this Bears defense.
Well, I mean, I did their game last week at Jacksonville, and if Jacksonville could gain a yard on the goal line, they might have won a game. They were down there knocking. They had 7 opportunities to score on 5 different occasions. They kicked field goal. I mean, it was just terrible. The Chiefs are a good team. They're just good. I mean, Kelsey is just kind of rounding back into form. He was okay, caught a touchdown pass. But when they needed to play, Mahomes did what Mahomes does. I mean, the game's in the balance. It's late fourth quarter. Mahomes is getting chased by whoever in Jacksonville, and he finds Sky Moore for 55 yards. Like, I don't know how he saw him, to be honest with you, but that was the touchdown to Travis Kelce was way after the X's and O's and the design of the play. And so they're still very, very good. They ran the ball really well with Pacheco. Defensively, their 2 corners are really good. So I think when you look at L'Jarius Sneed, when you look at McDuffie, they're a pretty good tandem. And they play a lot of man coverage, so they blitz a lot. So in Chris Jones, like that interior now, you better have a plan for Chris Jones because he beat their best player in Brandon Sheriff a number of times. Like he was, and then he went out on the rookie right tackle. That's where you got to look for. Last week he went out over the rookie right tackle, Anton, whatever his last name is right now, I forget, but Anton Harrison, and he abused him. And so he's going to find the weakness on your line, and that's where he's going to line up. And so the Bears have their hands full, period, on both sides of the ball.
So, Baldy, I'm just going to give you a hypothetical. Luke Getzey is just about to ring your phone in 10 minutes, and he's going to say, Brian, I love you on the NFL Network. I love you on Fox Sports. I loved you on the field. I love listening to you on the CHGO Bears podcast. I'm curious, when you watch our tape, what would you do with Justin Fields if you were me? He just went on with a press conference and talked about wanting to play free. I'm trying to be a good coach and help him. Can you help me get there? What would you say?
Well, I would say that, I know they want him, to do all these pretty passes and read defense. I mean, he's still a read option quarterback. I mean, it's what he does best. Put him in a position. You remember the play last year against Green Bay when the entire defense was chasing him down the field. I mean, make sure that Kansas City, because really Trevor Lawrence isn't a dual threat quarterback. And, the first week, certainly in Detroit, they don't have that. Like, put him in that position where let's see if Kansas City knows how to play option rules football and give them those opportunities with Rashawn, with their backs right now and see if they can handle that. But it's still what he does best. And then the options off of that, put him in triple options, pitch option. I'd still put him out there where he's the focal point of the offense instead of just sitting him in the pocket and make him, go through these progressions and all this stuff like he's this experienced pocket quarterback. I'd put him in those positions for him to succeed.
Baldy, we appreciate it, man. I mean, we're really looking forward to talking to you today. There's all this news that we were not expecting right before you came out today, I know we blindsided you with a little bit of it, but
no, that's okay. Honestly, yeah. I thought we were going to get to the defense because I can't figure out what the defense is doing.
Well, let's talk about it real quick before we let you go. Yeah, what's happening?
So, look, their zone defense, fine. I remember talking to Wannstedt up at Hiles Hall this year about how it's supposed to look and new linebackers in there, and that's why they went out, spent a lot of money on 2 linebackers, all this stuff. I mean, they went after the rookie corner last week. Look, he's a rookie. He's going to get tested. But I can't figure out every defense. It starts with what can you do well? What can you take away? And I didn't feel like Baker didn't get touched, okay? Like I didn't feel like they took anything away. Yes, they've got 2 monsters at wide receiver. So, Mike Evans abuses the rookie corner. Okay. But okay, if that's the matchup out there and they're going to Mike Evans, give me some pressure on Baker. Create the pressure. Send the blitz. You just can't sit back and play zones and let Baker go play. He looks like he was back at Oklahoma against Texas Tech last week. It bothered me where I'm like, okay, I understand that they don't have elite pass rushers and elite defense line. I get that. All right. But, at the same time, you can't just sit back there and just give them the whole field and not take anything away. And it bugged me to watch that last week.
So just to bottom line that. If you can't get there with 4, send 5. If you can't get there with 5, send 6. If you can't get there with, literally anything to put some heat on whoever is playing quarterback.
You've got to force the issue. You got to get the ball out of Baker's hands faster. He's got to know he's getting hit. They got a right tackle that really isn't a very good right tackle. Yes, the left tackle is a stud, but he's still learning the position. I just thought there was opportunities. I mean, there's a million different ways to get to the quarterback. Free hitters, overloads, zone pressures. I mean, there's just stuff that is in anybody's folder for any game, and I didn't really see anything, So, don't let Baker just look like it's a 7-on-7 drill on Friday, man. You can't do that.
Well, and once again, I feel like this is the 4th time I've done this in this interview. The defensive coordinator's not in the building. So on top of all this, you're dealing with a situation that I've never seen in week 3 where the defensive coordinator's out with personal reasons and they're trying to move things around on the fly. I guess the good news is Eberflus, this is still his system. They should be able to figure it out. But, wow, week 3, Baldy. It's a long season.
Well, I hope that we meet up next Wednesday, I guess, and there's something positive to talk about because honestly, there was very little to take away. I mean, I know that they kept the score down in Tampa for the most part, and they were in the game, but 0-2 going to Kansas City for any team in this league, I don't care if you're Los Angeles, that's a daunting task, period.
All right. Anything else, guys?
I just want to cry.
No. We're going to be okay, Greg. And, Baldy, just great to have you with us. We can't wait to talk all year. So appreciate the time.
Okay, you bet, guys. I'll talk to you next week.
All right, there he is. Brian Baldinger is going to be joining us, like he said, hopefully on Wednesdays going forward.
That was awesome. I mean, it was depressing, but also pretty awesome.
Hey, look, I'm going to make this vow to you guys every single show. As bad as this might get, we've been doing this a long time, and we're going to make it as fun and as informative as we can. And just to have Brian Baldinger here every week is going to be super awesome.
You know what the best part of that was? Don't hang up on me quite yet.
Yeah, I need to talk about the defense.
I want to tell you guys
I got things to talk about.
I thought you guys were going to mention that the defense is a disaster. But since you didn't, because you're so focused on the quarterback because he spoke today, let me make sure that I let you know that they literally there's a zillion things, I think is how he put it, that they could be doing that they're not doing. Wow.
And this was in a game where your head coach, who's known for his defensive prowess, took over the play calling for. So
awesome.
Yeah, you want to hear my nuclear option on the defense that won't happen?
You want to tease that for a second?
Sure. I have a nuclear.
Unload it right now.
I got it. No, let's tease it. I have a nuclear option of how they could move the defense forward.
Bring Brian Urlacher back from retirement.
There it is.
No. It's from a coaching standpoint.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a great tease. In the meantime, if you happen to be in the market for a new or used vehicle, we got great news for you. This might be the only good news we have for you for the whole show. Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake has just joined the CHGO team. In fact, we're going to hear from Ray later on in this show. As if there wasn't enough going on, Ray's going to be here with some fantasy football advice, and I know he's been texting me all morning with a bunch of stuff. So he's going to be here, and we were talking to Ray. We were talking to the whole team there, and they want us to let you know that this thing they call the Ray Price Promise is 100% legit. It's what their foundation is. It's their guarantee that the price you see online is the price that you pay when you come into the store. In many cases, other dealers will raise the price on you when you actually come in there, saying things like, well, are you a recent college grad? Are you active in the military? Are you a farmer? And let's be honest, in most cases that answer is no, and then they'll be like, well, you don't qualify for those discounts that, we allegedly had for you when you were looking online. Well, at Ray, it's not what they do. The price you see online, the price you pay, no add-ons to the price ever. In fact, Ray will do everything possible to find additional savings for you, which may make the price lower than you see online. As one of the top-selling dealers in the Midwest, you'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest inventories. Save big at Ray Chevy. because they now have over 100 Chevy Trax models available, starting at $21,495. And now through September 30th, all buyers can qualify for 0% financing, make 0 payments until 2024, plus put no money down, and best of all, pay 0 hidden fees with the Ray Price Promise. Visit Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com, serving the community since 1963. Find new roads.
Step up your TV game with our friends at Fubo TV, 140-plus live channels of sports and shows and movies and news and everything you could possibly want for your TV sitting on the couch. Give me some peace. Entertain me life. Thank you very much. No contract, no cable, no hassle. Sign up, start watching. They've got 1,000 hours of cloud DVR, which is included at no extra charge. And, of course, you can watch all your local teams while traveling as well, which is huge. The most Chicago sports for the lowest price. Huge. Bears, college football, Big Ten, Red Zone, NFL Network, Ryder Cup. You name it, they've got it. Watch all your college football and the NFL with Fubo. Go to www.FuboTV.com/CHGO. Sign up, and you get 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro. Thank you to our friends at Fubo. I was watching it last night. Good one from the Duke here.
This might be my favorite super chat ever by the Duke.
Hoge, if you don't mind, I'll take this because
This is great.
The moon is fascinating. Once did a radio segment with our friend Connor McKnight about the moon. He yelled at me that I was saying the moon was a planet. I said, why can't it be a planet? And now the Duke, 5 years later, is texting about the moon, which I think is great. The moon is fascinating. A failed planet. Can you imagine what it's like on the moon? A static, never-changing failure that's completely devoid of intelligent life. Oh, wait, you guys visit Hallis Hall regularly. Never mind. Comparing the moon and devoid of life to Hallis Hall. Come on, Duke.
So Duke. Can I say I've been on the moon?
I don't know.
I think by Duke association, you can say that.
Okay. I am a rocket man. I am Elton John.
There you go.
So here's my nuclear, not going to happen, but could be brilliant option. There's a guy who won a ton of football games at a place that they've never won a ton of football games.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, God, here we go.
That's right. That's right. He's a volunteer assistant right now at Loyola. He was let go by this institution. He was a tremendous linebacker who was all about grit and fight and getting things done. He was courted by the Green Bay Packers, and he said no. He's sitting right here for you.
Yeah.
Why can't we? That's my bold move.
What's his name?
His name is Pat Fitzgerald, a.k.a. Fitz. Bears. Grit. Fight. Let's go.
Okay.
I mean, I get it. It wouldn't never happen, but like that name to me is at least fun to talk about. He's sitting right there for you. Well, Tell me he couldn't get in there and shake things up?
I'd love the idea of hiring him as a consultant right now.
There. Let's start there.
I mean, you can't overhaul your defense in the middle of the year.
No, don't have to.
But also, I'm trying to think about Fitz's it's... Yeah, that's wild. I was not expecting you to say that.
I said it was wild. Here come the terrible take by Cram. Great take, Chuckles.
I want an update on how, if Fitz and Kevin Warren are on each other's Christmas cards list. That would be one wrinkle.
I don't see why they would have why there'd be a problem there.
Well, I'm thinking back to COVID times.
Yeah, I'm sure
the same Justin Fields stuff.
I'm sure George McCaskey, with all the hot water the Bears are in right now, just wants to pour more gasoline into the bowl with everything going around with Pat Fitzgerald.
I mean, I'm open to other suggestions. Who we got? Throw them out there. I mean, seriously, what are you going to do if Alan Williams is not coming back?
One is you give John Hoke more responsibility. He's already your passing game coordinator. Okay, there's a lot going on right now that as a head coach you need to be a head coach for.
Right. I don't think it's sustainable.
I can promise you right now, there's not a lot of sleep happening at Hallis Hall right now, and that includes Kevin Warren. I mean, there's Ben, and this is probably a better idea. Ben Wunderlich, $9.99 here. What's Lovey up to these days?
Well, that's an interesting one.
Someone here saw Lovey recently.
Great question, Adam.
He might be in the area.
On a ranch right now.
I mean,
I think he's either in
steaming
Tampa or
up
here.
things.
I believe he still has places in both places.
I am not a Lovey guy, but to have him do the defense, okay.
Well, and it's his system.
Right. I was going to say, now that's more aligned with the tree here.
Bring him back. Let's go. Put some.
And then also bring Urlacher back.
Right. Well, let me just say this. There is an opportunity for a coaching staff that could use
a shot in the arm.
A shot in the arm, a boost in that building, somebody who could, a fresh set of eyes.
What's Rod Marinelli doing?
Yeah, so if I were the Bears, I would not promote from within right now. I would get a little more bold.
Well, people, where are we at with Alan Williams? We're rehiring a defensive coordinator, but what are we doing?
Take over. What do you got?
We'll let you do this.
So obviously, the head coach is not giving any answers on Alan Williams.
He won't even say that he's talked to him. I have no comment.
Well, shout out to Nick. Nicholas Moriano asked a very direct question that needed to be asked. We'll get to the super chat in a second, Duke. We love you. But the direct question was, Matt Eberflus, do you expect Alan Williams to return to the team this season? Answer, I do not have an update. He was also asked, I'm doing this off the top of my head.
Have you spoken to him?
Have you spoken to Alan Williams?
I have no update.
I have no update. And I think, wasn't the third follow-up, is he still employed as the defensive coordinator? Is he
I don't
still
remember,
the defensive coordinator?
I know the answer was
I have no update. Regardless of personal privacy, which I am very respectful of, this is a massive story. Your defensive coordinator
disappeared.
Is not in the building, and the team is providing zero answers whatsoever. I am not surprised that evidently, even while the show's going on, rumors are flying all over the internet based on the comments I'm seeing. All I can tell you right now is there is a process to reporting, and the one thing that I can say from what I've heard and phone calls I've made on this and dug into is I would personally not be surprised if Alan Williams does not come back this season. That's not to say he won't. I don't think he's calling the plays this weekend for sure in Kansas City. But that's on the table if for no other reason that the question was asked to the head coach today and he didn't provide an answer. It was a yes or no question, and there was no answer.
And then Potsy asked, is it a problem to not have your...
Mark Potts, that was phenomenal. So, Matt, is this an issue, not having a defensive coordinator? I would just say this, because, there's a zillion rumors out there, and by all accounts, this doesn't seem like it's a coaching issue. I'm absolutely stunned that this is happening, because you just never know what's going on, and I have no idea what's going on.
The Duke super chat here, 1999. Whatever the Williams situation is, it's got to be really, really bad for Flus to not comment as to whether or not he's even employed as the DC was striking to me. I have a bad feeling that he's not okay or is in big trouble.
There was that part of it, and I don't want to nitpick the Flus because we've done enough of that, but I'll do it anyway. You could say, yes, I've talked to him, or no, I haven't. I have not spoken with Alan. I have spoken with Alan. Done. That shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah. We need to be. I am going to stress we do need to be careful about this.
Yeah.
With any type of speculation, fans can fan however they want. Absolutely no problem. But at least in what I'm employed to do, there needs to be some level of respect to the whole thing. But at the end of the day, it is a story when your defense coordinator is not in the building, and the defense needs to play football and try to stop Patrick Mahomes on Sunday. And there are 32 defensive coordinators in the league, and there might be some co-defensive coordinators, so don't quote me on the exact number. But for one of them to just be gone week 2 into week 3 with no answers provided whatsoever. And let me say this too. Kevin Warren's being tested here because these are things that, now this specific situation I've never encountered covering this team, but drama like this I've covered with this team many, many times. And I've seen it spiral out of control, most notably in 2014, very, very quickly. And that's why at a minimum, I'm going to probably say this 7 more times before kickoff on Sunday. You cannot lose by like 40 points this week. Like, this cannot be a Mark Trestman standing on the sideline in Green Bay where I'm got my binoculars from the press box at Lambeau Field, and there's not a single person 20 feet to his left or 20 feet to his right because they're all, I don't want to be caught on television right now next to this guy.
Right, because we talk about trying to compare it to the Trestman era. What was the it's over moment in the Trestman era? The Patriots and Packers back-to-back weeks.
Well, right. It was the
and they were drubbings. And in the Packers game at halftime, they were losing 35-0 or whatever.
Yeah. Now
and Rodgers was laughing at. I mean, it was embarrassing, and they were literally laughing at us, from the sidelines. And that is what because I asked it to Baldy. I know it's kind of a silly question, but the chopping block stuff is going to come a lot sooner than it would in any other normal year because of everything that's already unfolded. And if they get a drubbing this weekend, it's just, you talk about going nuclear. We're at code red. That's why I wore the shirt.
I don't expect the Bears to win this week, but I do expect them to be competitive, play hard. Fields just put his whole...
Sounds nice. Story sounds nice.
I'm not going to say putting his career on the line, but he stepped up in a big-time way as to how he expects to play this week. So now they're playing the Chiefs, as we all know. I think this is a phenomenal opportunity where no one's expecting you to win. If you play a competitive game, that is a win. So it should give you some relative freedom to unlock some things, work on it that you have not been doing.
Right. I mean, that's the rationalization. That's one way it could play out. But what is the more likely scenario? That this nothing to lose, Fields is going to be himself and just cut it, rip it, and they're going to fight, and this is going to be such a great moment? Or Patrick Mahomes, who's also looking for a get-right game, and Matt Nagy, who wants to show up the Bears, completely embarrass Chicago and run up and down the field.
So what you're hearing right now is a diehard Bears fan who has seen, this episode of Law and Order too many times. Where it's the same. It's a different story every episode, but the ending's always the same.
Right.
Right. And I can't blame you, man. I can't blame you. What I will say is
it's literally over.
Okay. Well, that's one way to look at it.
That's how I feel about it.
What I am going to say is I'm going to try not to fall into this trap that sometimes I fall into, admittedly, trying to be an objective person covering the team, right? You want to give people the benefit of the doubt. So your end scenario here, probably going to be right. I'm just going to, normally that's it. But this is why I brought up Kevin Warren's name into this, because there are some differences, okay? One is we're still relatively early in this Ryan Poles era, but I feel relatively confident from my interactions with him and getting to know him that in the middle of a bye week, after you got slacked in New England and you have to go play your rival in Green Bay the next week, you're not doing research projects on something Brian Urlacher said in the media, like the GM at the time, Phil Emery, was doing. Ryan Poles is different. Has he made every decision perfect so far? No. There's certainly things to criticize. Most recently, I would criticize this handling of Chase Claypool, which we can get into at some point in this show if we want to. But I do think that's one difference that should give you a little bit of hope. And then the other one is the biggest one to me, and it's that Kevin Warren is in charge now. And we don't know how he's going to react to stuff like this. What I will say is, again, this is just if I were him. We don't know how he's going to react. I would take the bull by the horns here a little bit more than I have with this Allen Williams situation. Learning from the Nate Davis situation in training camp.
Right.
I don't know what types of meetings they're having there at Hallis Hall. But it's not instilling any confidence in the fan base that anything's going to be different. Evident by what you just said a few minutes ago.
Right.
Just assuming everything's going to be the same.
And the word is that Warren isn't afraid to ruffle the feathers, right? I mean, so I want to see that. I don't want him to be hired as a yes man.
Right, but okay. You're not saying that they should be firing anybody right now, correct?
I'm close, brother. I literally, I mean.
Who do you want them to fire right now?
I'm just telling you, I'm willing to give it a week or two. I mean, we got the week 5 short week. You go into that short bye. If they're 0-5 at that point, which is definitely on the table.
Brad Biggs in the Tribune today detailed early season firings. 2008, the Rams fired Scott Lynn at 0-4. The Raiders fired Lane Kiffin the same year, 1-3. 2014, the Raiders fired Dennis Allen, 0-4. 2020, the Texans fired their GM and their coach Bill O'Brien, 0-4. But it's pretty damn rare that you do it that early. Now, midseason,
especially for a team that had.
The Bears have never done it. The Bears' expectations from their general manager was to improve, which is what Flus is leaning into.
And I'm not saying fire him this week. I'm just telling you personally, in my mind, I'm like, it's over. This team isn't going anywhere. But I'm willing to give it these next 3 weeks. If they're welcome to prove me wrong. I know I'm the king of overreacting both ways. But I have zero faith that anything's going to change in the next 3 weeks. And when they're 0-5, facing a 10-day layoff after Thursday Night Football, that's a great opportunity to start making some wholesale changes.
All right. One more piece of hope for you. And by the way, I agree with you. I think, and I would narrow it down to 2 weeks. 2 weeks. You cannot get your ass blown out of Kansas City.
Which they will.
You can lose. But you better show some signs of progress. And then you better carry that progress into a winnable game against Denver the following week, okay? Because they got their own quarterback issues there with the Broncos. So that's best case scenario, right? But if it's the opposite, if you get blown out and you have a dud against the Broncos when you come back home for the first time since you had a dud against the Packers, that's where you start worrying about losing the locker room, losing Justin Fields.
Well, you only got 4 days to prepare for Washington after Denver.
What I will say is there could not be a more opposite moment than Mitch Trubisky and the having to turn the televisions off at Hallis Hall.
That was amazing.
Than what happened today with Justin Fields.
Yep.
And to me, that gives me a little hope.
Yep.
That this is going to be different.
You'll see.
For the
I'm
quarterback.
ready. Show me, Justin. I got a Justin Fields jersey at home. I'll rock that all week long. You show me, just like you told you're going to show the media today. I'm ready. We're all ready for it. This has been pitiful to start this year.
Can't argue with that. I'm not ready to fire anyone is all I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's not going to get there, but and I'm certainly not I certainly wouldn't sit on here and say they're going to, because I don't think they are. But the Kevin Warren thing is an interesting part of this, because I wouldn't think that George McCaskey would get in the way of letting Kevin Warren, if he wanted to do something different, if he wanted to be bold, if he gets in a room with Poles and they talk it out and they have some level of decision at some point this year that they want to go in a different direction, I wouldn't think that anybody above Kevin would step down and say, no, you can't do that. I'd be stunned.
Going back to Fields' comments today, and you're trying to give me hope, and I appreciate that, Hoge. But at the same time, when we just talked to Brian Baldinger, who's been in this business, and you set it up and let him know what had just happened, he said, it's alarming. He didn't say, oh, that's a good thing. I'm glad Justin's sticking up for himself, because what he said was, it's alarming because that's stuff that shouldn't be said to the media. So why is he saying that to the media? Because him and Justin's agent, they decided this is the play we're going to make today?
You know why?
Plant our flag?
Because we talked about this Sunday. Carm, you said it. You had never seen a fan base flip so much on a quarterback in such a short time ever. It
stunned me.
10 days ago, you couldn't say a bad thing about the guy without getting death threats. And I'm actually being serious about that.
Right.
That's not even hyperbole.
Yep.
So, by the end of the game Sunday, no one wanted to hear a good thing. No one wanted to hear a single piece of hope. even now people are like, well, you're just still making excuses for Justin Fields. He's got to own it.
You're a Fields apologist. Before it was like, go after yourself. You don't know anything about football. Never talk in front of a microphone
You're
again.
a hater.
If you pointed out that he didn't have a good day in practice, which he didn't have.
And Justin has a team that he works with. Like, he has people that handle this stuff and are well. If he's not well aware of JT O'Sullivan's breakdowns or Tim Jenkins' break, you better believe his guys are. I know who they are. He has a team around him. And what did he do this on his own? I don't know. I kind of hope he did. But did he get some advice that, hey, man, you got to go in there and just guns blazing, stick up for yourself? There was probably some conversations behind the scenes, I would guess. And you know what? It doesn't matter. Good for him. I am very encouraged by the press conference.
As long as Luke Getsy's like, okay, I'm on board with you. Because that's my biggest question, because he's just drawing a clear line in the sand. And is Matt Eberflus and Luke Getsy going to come over to that line with Justin and say, all right, man, we want to work with you. We want to try to make this work. Or because we've heard both of them say, no, our play calls are the right plays. Matt Eberflus literally just said on Monday that he defended the screen pass call, which nobody's defending. But he went on Monday and said that was a good call. Are you kidding me?
Well,
so that doesn't sound like two sides that are ready to agree.
It's interesting what you're teeing up as far as was everybody aligned with the Fields press conference today. My guess is that they were. Justin's going to say this. Let's let him go out there and do it first. Let's flip the order so the head coach can come out after and back him up and say that we're all in this together.
Do they normally do Eberflus first?
Eberflus is
second?
yes. Eberflus is 99% of the time first. They flipped it today, so I would think that there was some coordination there. If I'm obviously guessing, but that would make sense to me. And I think you'll have the same coordination tomorrow when you hear from Luke Getsy that he's going to say that he needs to be better. I'll be shocked if he's like, no, we really want him in the pocket. And I get that he wants that, but, you know, it's a balance. Or just, I think he's going to own his part in it. But I could, you know, to your point that you said earlier, Hoge, if you guys have been watching the whole show, he hasn't really done that yet. I think he will tomorrow.
Getsy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he's going to go right in the bunker with him. I need to be better. It's my job to make this dude play free. I have not done as good of it. He better say that. He better say that.
By the way, this is a national story right now. I'm seeing it on Twitter. I mean,
it is.
Everybody's reacting to what Justin Fields said today. I have questions for Nicholas Moriano. Do we have Nick?
I'm just trying to confirm if he's audio only or not audio only. It looks like he's audio. Well, now he's gone. I don't know. So no, we don't have him
Okay,
yet.
we
We can do an ad break.
It was a yes or no question, Flus.
Hey, at least I gave information.
You did.
I didn't just talk around it.
You did. I have to say I'm still in a level of somewhat shock, to be honest.
Which part?
Just everything. I cannot. I don't know how this team manages to do this.
So you know what I was.
It's week 3.
The Bears to me are sort of like
the moon.
No, I was going to put it to the dude. I'll put it on dude's side here that has no idea what he's doing with his life in his 20s. This is the farthest thing away from making any commitment. And so all he does is just rinse and repeat. He meets somebody, he dates them, they go on 2-3 dates. Next thing you know, the naked pretzel's going on. Then they're all in, and then about 6 months into it, they realize that is there a real commitment here or not? No, I'm gonna get out, and then I'm gonna sit it out for 3 weeks, and then you're gonna go back and do the same thing over again. That's your dating life in your 20s. The Bears are like a dude in his 20s who has no idea what he's gonna do with his life, barely got through college, and they're just rinse and repeat in his dating life. That's what the Bears are.
So
Casey, you know what I'm talking about. That's what they did.
Like, leave me
that's
out
what
of this.
that's what we have here.
But that's where I'm coming back to Kevin Warren, because the only time I've seen in sports that this stuff changes is when ownership changes, and that's not an option here.
Right. Kevin Warren was the
ownership's not changing.
Right. Kevin Warren went to a good school, came out of school, had a law degree, knew exactly what he was going to do with life, went out, found somebody who was aligned with him integrity-wise, got married, started having kids. Kind of like you, Hoge. Like
that's not why I brought up Kevin Warren to go through his whole life history.
I have no idea if that's what he did. I'm just saying that that's the type of dude that he is.
Okay. Nicholas Moriano is at Hallis Hall. And, Nick, I have a somewhat odd first question for you. But were you given any reason why the quarterback spoke ahead of the head coach today?
No, there was no reason given. Just Justin Fields showed up, and he was spitting out some fire from today's press conference, but no explanation as to why he was up first, you guys.
Okay.
All right.
That's the moon.
I'm sorry. The person that put in the chat the naked pretzel while banging grannies. You get text of the show. Congratulations. That's amazing. Nick.
Well, and I saw Herb Howard also tweeted that Braxton Jones was having that surgery he was talking about.
Yeah, that's my first thought is that's why he's on IR. He's going to the BBL.
Okay.
Maybe. All right, Nick, take us inside that room. Justin Fields is talking. What in the heck is going through your head? How loud was the keyboard typing? Because that's what you always notice. You always notice right away. It's like bang, 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 bang.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think it felt almost like reassuring to see that Justin Fields took this stance today, right? Like knowing and putting it out there for everybody. Like I have an article that will be coming out really shortly. I put first line: Justin Fields wants to play his game, and he wants everyone to know about it. Exactly what he wants to be in this offense, what's kind of going wrong right now. And it was nice to hear that openness from QB1 today, and acknowledging that coaching could be a part of why he's overthinking things and why he hasn't been able to just be himself, right? And in one of the articles that I wrote literally a couple days ago, I felt like he was looking more robotic. He literally used that word today, you guys, in describing how he was playing. But, there's a lot of good things in there, and we'll see how this team responds to it, right? Because Justin Fields has put that out there for the coaching staff. Now you're going into a very hostile environment in Kansas City. What is this offense going to look like? Is it now going to cater more to Justin Fields' strength? And that's going to be on Luke Getsy, Andrew Janocko, and this entire coaching staff to put that together so that Justin Fields can finally feel like himself for once in this offense and, use that athletic ability that not many quarterbacks have in the NFL. So it was good to hear him put it out there. Now we just got to see if actions will be taken afterwards.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, you say it's encouraging. Hoge echoed that sentiment. But for me, I'm not convinced that Luke Getsy and Matt Eberflus see it the way Justin's seeing it from their comments before today, backing up their play calls and taking little subtle shots as we thought they were in the last 2 weeks at the quarterback play. So, I mean, you talked to Eberflus after Justin. Do you have any confidence that they're going to cross the picket line with Justin?
I think they're what Justin said, they were receptive of what he had to tell them when they met. So I think obviously they hear what he's saying, they know what he's saying. And I think you just watch the tape, right? Ultimately, when you could say all these things, but you see him out there, he's hesitating. It looks like he's thinking too much. So I think for the better part of this entire team, you need to acknowledge what your starting quarterback is saying. And look, Justin owned it himself too. He said he knows he can play better. He said everyone could see that. And, he wants to be like this perfectionist, and maybe that's also impacting, how he's processing a play. But, we all saw open receivers downfield, even though things are not quite exactly how it looked in practice, doesn't mean a play can't be made. But I think that's where, you got to strike that balance, you guys, between, letting Fields go out there and play, but he still needs to make the plays that the coaches have put him in position at times to go out there and execute. So I think you're hearing Justin Fields, they're hearing what he's saying. And I do think we do see a little bit more of him outside the pocket and just feeling a little bit more like himself, kind of what we saw last season. Maybe not all the running per se, but just getting him outside of the pocket on the move. A great play that, didn't actually end up being a completion was a throw to Cole Kmet. Like, if we see a little bit more of those types of things, I think that's catering to Justin Fields' strengths.
Nick, you're sitting there, you're listening to Flus, you're listening to Justin. What moment for you today just was like the, oh my God, I can't believe he just said that, or just the most like when you're picking up your eyes looking around, like, did I just hear that correctly?
Yeah, I think it was like right at the very beginning for Fields. He's like, F it, right? He's going to go out there and play his game. And when he says that, you're like, okay. I immediately thought, is this the first time we're going to see Justin Fields throw for 300 yards, you guys? Because he's going to go out there and play loose. But I think that he set the tone pretty early, you guys. That was, I think, one or two questions, maybe the third question in to this, entire press conference where he just said, F it, I'm going to go out there and play my game and, play the quarterback that ultimately got him to this point in his football career. So when he said that, Mark, I think if people didn't already know, but that was at the point where you knew like this press conference is going to be a little bit different than all the other ones that we normally hear from.
I'm not going to lie. I'm glad I wasn't in that press room today because I was in my car listening live, and I literally yelled out in the car, "Let's go, Justin!" Because
you weren't alone, man.
Like he, just even as someone covering the team, like.
Well, I love
you see this go like that other direction so many times where these quarterbacks just like crawl into a ball until they're shown the door, usually somewhat awkwardly, or they get benched. Just this again, it's got to be shown on the field, but just the reaction today was different. It was different. What did you think about what Matt Eberflus had to say though, like in response to it? Because Carm's trying to say that was coordinated. That's giving the Bears a lot of the benefit of the doubt, in my opinion. But maybe it was. And with the head coach talking after the quarterback, we did get to hear his reaction to it. Are you buying that everyone's on the same page here?
I mean, buying it, I think they're saying all the right. I mean, I think they're saying the right things. Like Eberflus said, it's a partnership, right? When we put them in successful positions, like, they all benefit from it. But when we don't, like, guess what? They didn't do a good enough job. But, I think I was listening to a little bit of you guys before, as I was just kind of writing, like, there are egos in this league. So I wonder how much of that takes a part in this whole entire situation where, Getsy has a specific scheme, right? And, if Fields is, has the opposite foot up because of that scheme, like, how much are you willing to adjust? But I think Eberflus, to almost like what will benefit Eberflus the most is if you get the most out of Justin Fields. So you have to acknowledge what he's saying, you guys, because if he's playing poorly, you're not going anywhere as a team. You're already on a 12-game losing streak. It can very easily be 13 after Kansas City. So I think there is some truth to what they're saying, but I wonder to what extent they're going to really adjust and make this offense really cater to the quarterback's strengths.
Right. So let's fast forward to this. They agree to the partnership, and they give into some of the things that Justin Fields wants to do, and then it still doesn't work, and they're still very bad. Then what?
It's over. Go ahead, Nick. Answer.
I mean, you're in a really grim situation, I would say, right? I mean, what else can you do at that point? Like, you've adjusted to his needs. Things are still not working. And if you go back to what we've already seen 2 games this season that doesn't work. But I think you need to find that happy medium, because I think this football team is more talented than it was last season, right? We can all agree to that. There is more talent on the roster. But, like, at some point, you need to see actual results and see some W's in the win column. But, yeah, that would be just a terrible situation to be in, Greg.
Nick, real quick, best guess who plays left tackle this week? That was the one I thought maybe borderline most honest inside the Flus's head when he's like, we're talking about it.
It's a good question, Mark, and honestly, I hope it's not Darnell Wright. Just because I like just seeing some continuity, him playing that right tackle position. But if Larry has to be that, there were times throughout training camp where he was getting reps at the left tackle position. But yeah, it's a really good question, and practice is still going on, so we can't report on anything yet. But I just hope it's not Darnell Wright.
Okay, well, I need to correct something. So you saw Darnell Wright take reps at left tackle during camp?
No, Larry Borum. Larry
Borum. Okay, sorry, my brain. I was going to say, I was like, I need to correct what I said earlier, though, because I had not seen that. Okay.
I think you're just distracted by Big Cram's new avatar, which is...
Big Cram's new avatar, $9.99. If the Bears season does a whole 180, this press conference will be as memorable as Derrick Rose saying, "Why can't I be MVP?"
That's the positivity that you can get out of a big cram every now and then. That's what I'm talking about, big cram.
I like that. Hey, Nick, last thing I have for you, because you asked a great question to Flus about Alan Williams, and directly, is he coming back? Do you expect him to return this season? And the answer was just, I don't have an update. And then every follow-up question, I don't have an update. What did you make of Flus still dodging questions on what's clearly a very sensitive and mysterious, quite frankly, situation?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, just based off of what he was saying, if there's continues to be no update, he will be the one calling the plays against Kansas City Chiefs. But it almost seemed like, too, you guys, with the coaching experience, and this is Eberflus talking, he said with the coaching experience that's on this team, they're better equipped to, not have a defensive coordinator and just have, Eberflus calling the shot. So it almost seemed like, yeah, we don't need a defensive coordinator. We have the experience here. So, yeah, with the Alan Williams, we'll just call it mystery right now as to, what's going on over there. It's still up in the air. But, Eberflus didn't seem all too concerned with not having him. Again, he bases that off of his coaching experience that he has on this team. And, I think I was telling you, Adam, I liked what Eberflus was trying to do defensively against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously, the execution didn't, quite go to the degree that they wanted to, the Bears. But, there were some things that I did like, some wrinkles that he put into the defensive game plan that you didn't see from Alan Williams in that first week.
All right, continue to be glued to Nick's Twitter feed at Nicholas Moriano. More updates to come once practice concludes. We'll have an injury report today as well. We'll hopefully have a better idea of what the plan might be at left tackle. Buckle up, my friend. Let me tell you that. Been there during seasons like this. If you think this is going to be the most remarkable day at Hallis, it probably won't be.
Nick, you're the man. Great job.
All right, you guys.
And if you don't get us a win in Kansas City, don't come back.
All right, well, look, I didn't listen last time. I came back from Tampa Bay, so I keep disappointing. But hopefully they come away with a win. All right, you guys.
See you. There he is, Nicholas Moriano. Hey, CHGO is supported by Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer since 1988. Oktoberfest. Beer Hug Family, 312, Full Bucket Pills, Green Line. I love Green Line. I need a Green Line.
Yes.
Fantastic beer. Breaking news. The Bears have traded a 6th-round pick to the Seahawks for Jason Peters. I'm kidding.
What are you, Braggs? What is wrong with you?
What the heck was that? I'm in the middle of a read.
What the fuck?
You just put it.
I'm sorry. I'm just very focused on the left tackle situation. Or keep going, Goose.
But then you reported non-accurate.
That's
Sheila in the chat says, Greg, please smack Krampa for his negativity. He's not being negative, but I could smack him for just doing that.
Yeah, he deserves a smack for that.
Grab Ultra Fresh Brewery exclusive beers at Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or from their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Goose Island Beer Company. Chicago's beer.
This show is not about violence. This show is about love. This show is about respect. This show is about being together. We try to make everybody better every single day, just like the Bears. By the way, it is another week of football, as you well know. DraftKings Sportsbook is keeping up on the NFL action with the best offers for every single game day. New customers, get in there. $5 bet, you get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Throw $5 down on any of the week's matchups, and you're an instant winner. DraftKings not stopping there. All customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game this September. And football is just a lot more fun when you're in on the action. So download the app now. Sign up with the code CHGO. New customers can bet just $5 and, again, get that $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, with the code CHGO. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling, calling 888-789-7777. Or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. 21 or over. Age varies by jurisdiction. Void in ONT. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility, terms and responsibilities, gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions do apply. I'm giving that read to Braggs tomorrow.
I know. I've been phased out of the ad reads.
Great.
Not the worst decision.
Excellent move by this show.
Well,
You're not phased out. You have one coming up.
In a jam-packed show, we're going to keep it rolling here as we bring in our guy, Big Bears fan Ray Scarpelli from Ray Auto Group.
What's up, guys?
It's been a busy morning, Ray.
What's up, Ray?
Ray.
We need some positivity. I don't know.
I'm not going to lie to you, Adam. Like, throughout the week when we've been talking, I've been thinking to myself, like, am I going to be Captain Negative here on the Bears? You know what I mean? But I'm going to go the positive direction. So I want to inject some positivity into this show in any way that I can. So...
Well, I don't know how up to speed. I know you're working. How up to speed you are on what Justin Fields had to say today, and just taking ownership of the idea he's going to play free. Just as a Bears fan, are you encouraged by hearing that?
100%, actually. So yeah, I'm at work today, obviously, but I saw the story come through on my phone, you know, and I had this thought while I've been sitting here before the call, and I don't know if you guys are big fans of the show Winning Time at all, the show of the Lakers dynasty.
Yeah, love it.
And I kept thinking to myself as I watched that second season, which ended in probably the worst way I've ever seen a show end, but that's an entirely different discussion. But, you know, they had a coach, right, in the show, Paul Westhead, and he wanted his players to, like, hey, this is my ego. I have the system. You have to play to my system, you know, instead of magic, be magic, right? And, you know, he was great with his assists and just the way that he played the game. And I kind of think that this is the same situation with Justin Fields. Let Justin Fields be Justin Fields. He's better, you know, when he's on the run and can make those creative plays. I think there's, you know, there's a comparison to be made there. And that's what I want to see. He's the guy. I want him to be the guy. I don't want the discussion next time I'm on your show or when you have guests on your show talking about, hey, you know, possible quarterback controversy situation. I don't want that. I want him to be our guy, and I believe him to be our guy. It's really.
Yeah, well, so let's get into some of the fantasy talk for this week. Now you got a tough matchup against the Chiefs, obviously. Who are you focused on this week in this matchup that, you know, are auto locks, guys you have to play between the Bears and Chiefs?
So for me, I mean, I'll start with the Kansas City side of things. I mean, here, Mahomes, Travis Kelce, those are lineup locks, 100%. On the other side of the ball for the Bears, I mean, here, DJ Moore played really well last week. If you guys played him in fantasy, he got about 14 points for you, depending on your scoring format. And here, I'm gonna start Justin Fields too. This is a get right game, I think, for him. And as far as a sleeper, I mean, guys, let's watch out for Roschon Johnson. I think he's got a real good chance, possibly, of taking that starting running back job. I mean, if anybody that's watched him, I mean, he runs angry. He runs with power. He's got the chance to be the guy, I think. And if he's not in your fantasy league, you got to add him. 100% must add. So that's my fantasy analysis for this weekend.
Yeah, I'm with you. I picked up Roschon in my last round of my fantasy league.
By the way, he's, according to, I'm looking at my ESPN league right now, he's only rostered in 30% of leagues. So still a good opportunity for a lot of you guys to go out there and grab him. I'm gonna
need him in that RB1 role because I lost Nick Chubb. You know.
Oh man.
All respect to Chubb and that injury. It was brutal to watch. Screw my fantasy team when it comes to stuff like that happening to a player. But at the same time, this is what happens in fantasy. So you need somebody to take that place. Like when you look at the Browns, do you think that there's like which running back would you look at? Because I know they brought in Kareem Hunt for a visit.
Hunt and Ford. I mean, I think here Hunt, very low percentage of roster. I want to say he's definitely under 20%. He's an ad. He's familiar with the system. He played well with Chubb the last couple of years, so I think he's definitely worth an ad if you got a roster spot for him.
Ford went for 98% of the fab money in my league this morning. When I woke up, I got that notification. Someone spent 98 of $100 on him.
I mean, Ray, when you talk about genius in fantasy and you think about Carm's roster and you see a Bijan Robinson and a Jordan Addison, I mean, don't you instantly think like that guy is just amazing and a potential general manager, basically? And
what was the first one?
I think Carm, you're a
Bijan,
fan of the
first round.
Magic. I mean, between Addison and Bijan. Another rookie in our division with the Bears that I'd take a look at is Sam Laporta, rookie tight end for the Detroit Lions. I think he's worth an ad too. Right now he's tight end 6 on the year.
I actually cut Njoku this morning and just went, Laporta's my guy. He was on my bench, and I got him in my starting lineup. Now I'm just going to roll with him going forward. If for some reason you're in a league where Kyren Williams too is available, he should have been picked up last week or yesterday on waivers if he was still available. But for some reason he's still there, you should grab him.
Picked him up. Look at that right there for him.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I dropped the ball last week. I totally forgot about waivers. We were having a busy Tuesday, and I was going to pick him up. I didn't, and I'm probably dead in my league now because of it.
Second most points in the CHGO Chop Shot League.
My fantasy team is in worse shape than the Bears after
That's not true.
2 weeks.
That can't be true.
Yeah.
Hey, Ray, what if the Bears beat the Chiefs? What kind of special will you have with the Ray Auto Group? Because you guys got to do something.
Man, I mean, I would say anybody that comes in, mentions the show, will get a free maintenance package. I mean, 3 free oil changes for sure. No question.
Let's go. I love that.
I think we have a good content opportunity if I sell you my Dodge 2010 Dodge Avenger. It's literally the dirtiest car from my bricklaying days ever. So maybe I'll just because I know it's probably worth $3 at this point.
His Impala's nasty too.
Shut up. So I'll probably just dump it off to you, and then we can do some video content with it. Sound like fun?
All right, man. Promise me. You're a friend.
We'll just do one. We'll do one of those videos where they just smash the car with
Yeah, we
bats
could
outside.
just do it like in Breaking Bad, where they take it to the compactor and just shrink it into a square piece. That's about all it's worth.
Ray, I know you got some great deals going on the rest of the month. Why don't you fill us in on it?
So here we got the grand reopening savings going all month long at our CDJR store. We got 15% off a Gladiator. Jeep Wagoneer we're also discounting as well. We also got an event going on that's open to the public. You guys are more than welcome to come. On September 26th, we have our JOTR meet and greet. Jeeps on the Run is a group that we're affiliated with. That's actually the largest donator for Toys for Tots in the state of Illinois. They're going to be here. It's a group that we're affiliated with. We're going to have just some snacks, some drinks. You can pick up your membership key tag. It's 10% off, actually, off of our Jeep merchandise store, as well as some of our factory orders. So it's a group that we're really proud to be affiliated with. It's got almost 10,000 members on Facebook. Be sure to join them. I'll provide a link in the description. I'll send it to Adam. And as far as everything else, I mean, here at our Chevy store, we got up to 6 G's off of Silverado. We're the largest Chevy dealer in Illinois for Silverado. We've got almost 100 pickup trucks either on the ground or being built. So if you've been looking for a Silverado, we're the dealer for you.
Ray, good talking to you again. And, we'll see how Justin does in Kansas City. It's got to be better. Yeah. It's got to be better, my friend.
I'm going to be Captain Positive, man. That's all I can say.
You just did it, Ray. You upped the mood.
I love it. All right, Ray, have a great day. We'll talk to you again in a couple weeks. Appreciate it.
All right, sounds good.
All right, there he is, Ray Scarpelli of Ray Auto Group in Fox Lake. Go check him out.
He will hook you up, CHGO fans.
He will. And meanwhile, I am going to be driving home in my Jeep Grand Cherokee from Ray CDJR, wearing my Shady Rays, trying to keep a smile on my face.
Put a smile on your face.
At least the sun is out. It was pouring rain this morning, but the sun is out. I will have my Shady Rays on, the gear built to last. Shady Rays is an independent sunglass company offering a world-class product just as good as any expensive pair we've worn. Durable frames, extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. That's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Sunglasses that are backed by lost and broken replacements. If you're a Bears fan that have thrown your
heart and soul
into a wall or stomped on them in anger, I don't recommend doing that. But Shady Rays will replace them. No questions asked. You can wear your Shady Rays with confidence. And this is exclusive for our listeners. Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com. Use code CHGO. You'll get 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
It is a great promotional idea for us. Bragg's watching breaking a Shady Rays, calling
and then
them up
making
instantly.
them replace them.
Yeah.
Every time the Bears lose, I smash the Shady Rays. Then they have to give me another one.
You just go right on the phone
We
and
just
just dial them up.
Prove this deal they keep offering.
We video it. Why not?
If I intentionally smash my glasses on the air, they have to give me them, right? That's the rule.
Well, I think as a respect to the sponsor, we shouldn't do that. But yes, that's what they would do for you because
we're proving the deal.
Because they're the greatest. Can you talk about diehards there?
Yeah,
sweetheart?
absolutely. I want to tell you guys all about this. Is no better time than right now to become a diehard. You want exclusive newsletters from Adam Hoge, giving you information that only you can read for diehards only. Become a diehard right now. Go to allchgo.com. Sign up to become a diehard. You get discounts on our events, future tailgates. We got a tailgate coming up week 4 against Denver. Our friends over at DMVR will be in town. If you go to allchgo.com and hit the events tab, you can get a ticket there. The first one was just absolutely bananas scene. All you can drink Goose Island, all you can eat Firewater Barbecue. The food was amazing, and the vibes were excellent despite the loss later that day. So, there's just a lot of different opportunities. And when you become a diehard, you get a free shirt right out the gate. We have a ton of great shirts in the store for your purchase. Don't give me that look, Carm. I stumbled through that. Yeah, I did. The Meatball Island shirt, our Midway collection, a lot of shirts that we've been putting out in the last year. Get a free shirt right out the gate and a discount on any future shirt. Discord chat where you can hang out with guys like Matthew Gregory, Gary Ross, and all the diehards in there. So just a lot of great stuff. Mark Carm's grades after every game, which will be an F every week until proven otherwise.
Apparently I was too nice last week.
I don't know how we've role reversed here, where Hoge is the positivity and I'm doom and gloom.
Don't
well,
box
that's called
either.
them being 0-2 and you reacting to it.
I know. I live in the extremes. There's no in between with me.
Okay, well.
It was a fun show. I honestly could have just been in the chat for this one. I felt like you were on fire today. On fire. I honestly enjoyed it.
What did I do?
You didn't do shit, as per usual. But, Hoge, you were on fire today, honestly.
Thank you, buddy.
I appreciate
that.
It was like the old days where I'd just tune in and listen to you just drop the knowledge, and I was like,
thanks for
I
listening.
talked about dating
You
in the
didn't do
20s
shit.
and the Bears.
And the moon.
And the moon.
You did great. You did great.
No, don't. I don't want your placation.
All right, let's get to these super chats. I still can't believe we're here.
You were so good today, Adam. You were amazing. I didn't even need to say anything. I should have just sat here and listened to you. I love you, Adam.
That's not what I said.
Carm, read these super
That
chats.
really is what you
read
said,
this
and
do
I'm
something.
puking. All right, but you did have a great show, Hoge. There's no doubt about it. All right, 1999 from the Duke. We love you, Duke. You know this. I think with the 5th-year option decision around the corner, it's really not around the corner. People keep on saying that. That makes JF the guy
It
with
is
a
around
hard
the corner. What are you talking about? They have to make that decision in 6 months.
You have a whole season to go through. You don't even.
You have a whole season minus 2 games that have been horrible.
At what point in the offseason do they have to make that decision?
The 5th-year option needs to be done by, it's like early May. So not 6 months. So 9 months. You can have a baby now between now and then.
Okay, and picking up the 5th-year option is not that big of a deal, by the way. It's not extending him, so you could do that. Anyway,
yes, it is extending him. It's guaranteeing him
it's
like
not
over
pay-
$20 million for
right,
an extra year.
But
This is a super chat.
you're not talking about giving him $400 million. You're talking about giving him one more year. That's
which
not
would have
that-
been a giant mistake with Mitch Trubisky. It's an important decision. Carm, it is you either believe in the guy or not.
Correct.
That's what it is.
No, I disagree.
We went at this yesterday. off
You
the air.
can extend him out. This is not what I recommend to do for the record. You should know, but you can extend him out another year and play it through, and then make your decision. That's what the Giants did with Daniel Jones.
And how's that working?
Well, they ultimately paid him.
And they shouldn't have.
That's fine. Then they made a mistake at that point. But you can't extend him out and delay your decision. I'll give you one more year. I'll pay you market value, and that's it. That's a way smaller commitment than saying that I'm giving you a 5-year deal for $250 million or whatever the going rate for a.
He could
hopefully
hold
at that
out too
point-
while you try to just run him into the
Yeah,
ground.
sure, he could, but he has very little leverage there.
Carm, it's really as simple as this. If you do not know whether or not you should pick up the 5th-year option, the second this season is over, you are most likely going to be in quarterback hell.
But that's why I'm
They
like.
are in quarterback
But
hell.
that's why I'm like. But that's why I'm waving the white flag on everything, because today is a signal of Justin saying, I can't do it the way you want me to do it. I'm going to do it my way, and that means Luke and Matt are like, okay, well then you're not our guy. That's what that means. That's the end game.
We got to get through a lot.
All
of
right,
super
I'm
chats
sorry.
here.
All right, Duke, thank you. 1999 breaking news. Cram deserves a timeout for that.
Yeah, what this
We're
was
all
like
on edge here, Cram.
15
That was
minutes
not
ago.
cool.
That was
That
the
was
stupid
when
breaking
he
news
broke
thing. Yeah,
fake news on the show. He pulled a Brags.
Yes.
Okay, but
Screw you,
Except
Carm.
except he didn't get duped. He
purpose-
just made it up.
Right, he purposely did it. I got duped.
and I didn't let it sit out there, and I didn't freak out. I didn't put my head down and put Bears Twitter into death.
Yeah,
No
still
offense.
dumb though. All right, I don't know about this one from ARM TV.
If he doesn't back it up, remember you have future Hall of Famer Tyson Bagent waiting in the wings from ARM TV. I don't mind that comment from ARM TV. Who knows? Maybe Bagent will be a future Hall of Famer. Secret. Michael Holmes, $10 after watching JF1's press conference. I think you'll have a breakout game. Do you guys think if Tevin comes back before Braxton, they will give him a shot at left tackle? That's interesting.
I think
They never
Probably not.
identified him as a tackle.
Larry Borum is your swing tackle. When one of the tackles goes down, you play the swing tackle. You see how it goes. If that doesn't go well,
Call Jason Peters.
Tevin's still got to miss another game.
If
Then you got to sign somebody. I don't know.
I'm telling you, trade that 6th-round pick for Jason Peters. It'll be sweet. Isaac Siegel, $10.
You could have signed him for no draft picks like 2 weeks ago.
But I understand. But now Braxton got hurt. You didn't know that. Then now
Why would the Seahawks trade him?
because he's 98 years old, and you'll give me a 6th-round pick, and we're the Seahawks. When a bunch of us brought up, this is from Isaac Siegel, $10. When a bunch of us brought up reporter questions asking being more aggressive, that is what we were asking for. Not yelling, but forcing them in a corner in a way they can't give us BS answers. Thank you. No problem, Isaac. Way to go, Nick. Good job. You were there. Big Cram coming back in here, $9.99. Ironically enough, the Bears season can either go like the Cubs or, unfortunately, like the White Sox. It's week 3, and my hair is looking like Carm's. That's messed up. I guess you could say I'm depressed. Are the Bears the Cubs or the White Sox?
Where's the smart money?
Headline for
The Bears are the Bears.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Let's stop pretending that they're anything else. They're the Bears. They're their own thing.
It's called an analogy.
Hey, Big Cram. Love you, but
The Bears are the Bears.
I would bet so much money that we're not going to be a playoff team this year. But to your point, Big Cram, maybe they could be because that division is wonk. Hoge, back to you. Why don't you
didn't
take
think the
it from-
Cubs were a playoff team either.
No,
They
I
might
didn't.
not be. I don't even want to say
And I
that
was
out
wrong.
How many times will I have my 10-win prediction sent to me by 2 o'clock?
What a
Because
Carm's already got it saved on his phone. He was sending it to me week 1.
I got pictures.
yeah.
I got pictures of everybody.
we're averaging 1.5 per hour at this moment.
The whole company's got them over 500 except for me and Lawrence.
Yeah, look at me.
Yeah, the two Mr. Negatives.
Nick had him 8-9.
You guys all live in your
Whatever.
negative worlds. with your negative predictions.
If I had lived in my negative world, I would have said what I really thought was likely.
Which you should have.
Which
you should have. You caved to the people.
I did. I thought 5.
You thought 5, and you think the quarterback's a bust. Just say it.
You don't get to do the I called it if you didn't.
I didn't
say
call
it.
it.
Then be quiet.
No, I can back
That's
this up.
what I really wanted to say.
But
I don't like brags.
Typical Chicago media trick. Don't say what you actually want.
Don't bring your charges with the rest of
Don't say what you actually feel.
I don't want. Don't. You're gonna get people mad.
Yeah, I don't care.
Well, we know that.
$9.99 Chris Bagaro. Who should I drop for Kyron Williams, Rashad White, Najee Harris, Roshan, Kareem Hunt? If you can drop Kareem Hunt in that situation, you drop Kareem Hunt. I just picked up Kareem this morning because he signed with the Browns. I need help.
Yeah, I wouldn't cut Kareem, though.
You wouldn't?
What's up, Nunu?
Then cut Roshan. We don't do anything right. We won't figure it out.
That's honestly, when in doubt, fade the Bears offense. I think that's a fair thing to do. 100% Kyron Williams is your number one option out of those guys, though. So flip a coin and drop one of them.
I didn't really love how the Bucs used Rashad White, so you could go that way too. Stephen Haynes, $5.
That's pounds sterling.
€5, £5, £5,
Pounds sterling.
And my 5-year-old son.
Don't know currency. We've been over
but again,
we
though,
don't know abbreviations and we don't know currency.
Symbol.
I got
every
it.
Week.
I got it. That's £5. My 5-year-old son. I make the corrections just like the Bears. My 5-year-old son still hasn't seen us win a game. He's asking why we can't support the Lions. Never thought I'd see the day that would be said.
Yeah.
So we started watching football
October
October 25th, 331 days ago. That's bad parenting right there. How come you hadn't watched? Why wasn't he watching the Niners game? What are you doing over there, Steven?
My son was rooting for the 49ers in the playoffs last year and wanted a Robbie Gould jersey. But then Robbie Gould left the 49ers. So
throwback.
Yeah. $5 from Mark Gauthier. Fight Club at Hallis Hall. JT Sullivan spurred this. I wonder if JT O'Sullivan has been watched by anybody over there. Why not? $4.99. Braxton Jones going on IR from whiplash watching defensive ends go by him is such a Bears thing. Bear down. Hey, we're not doing that to Braxton Jones, guest on the show, who was actually playing better, right, Hoge, than he was getting credit for?
That's why this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Guys getting hurt's always like a truth telling. Because fans will take shots at these players all the time, and then they'll be like, oh, crap, he's hurt. What do we do?
This is
It's a big loss.
Gonna cry. That's
We're
what
putting
I'll do.
We have the screenshot of the moment I told Baldy that Braxton Jones was going on IR. And he looked terrified.
I think we should put Braggs out there. Remember his footwork? What were you doing? Who was that for?
For the left tackle from Ohio State.
There you go. Yeah, you liked PJ whatever.
Paris Johnson.
Paris Johnson.
I did my drop step. I'm in a little better shape since then, so maybe it's gotten better.
Well, you were a month ago.
I were, and then I had Taco Bell.
All right, Michael Holmes, $5. When Tevin comes back, I would give him a shot at left tackle. I know he can't stay healthy, but he would do whatever it takes to get Justin.
To not get Justin killed.
It takes to not get Justin Fields.
Yes.
There's a lot of super chats.
$5 from Brandon. Vic Fangio should be a head coach. He's the defensive coordinator of the Dolphins. I'm sure. I wanted Vic Fangio to be the head coach back in the day. A lot of people did.
Hey, let's get these likes over 1,000 before the show ends.
Let's do it. Dylan Davids, $4.99. So many bad things happening. Braxton now and I are. How do we feel about Larry Borum taking over at left tackle? We feel not great about it, Dylan. That ain't the way this was supposed to go. By the way, you know who's playing great for the Ravens?
He had one good game.
Yeah.
And also, I would try to point out last year when he would have a good game and everyone would just yell at me.
Right. Everybody crushed Sam Mustipher. That guy got the most out of his ability. I'd like him to still be in the room. I had no problem with Mustipher.
I like Musty as the backup.
Brian Roman, $4.99. Do you guys like Justin Fields? Do you guys think Justin Fields will go back to his left foot? That's interesting. Because he says he's going to play like me. Like,
Well, you're going to be there tomorrow, Hoge. You're going to ask about the foot thing because nobody got to ask that to Fields today because of all the hot talk today. But can we get it in
That's
tomorrow?
a good question. That should have been asked to Fields today, without a doubt. Yes. To answer your question, yes. Getsy talks tomorrow. I will be there. The footwork's definitely coming up. I wish I was at practice today to see what the footwork was. I'm assuming it's the same. like Tim Jenkins said yesterday, that's rough to change mid-season. But when you hear the quarterback talk, I want to play the way I want to play.
Right.
Everything's on the table.
Everything's on the table. And if he wanted to go back to the other, do it.
Fomatic.
I'm actually excited about this game all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's
Tim
exciting.
Jenkins is on Twitter asking for someone in Chicago media to get him a press pass.
$4.99 from
we do
Fomatic. While the organization continues to be run ass backwards, goes back to George conducting the coaching search before Poles got here. Another Pace Fox situation. That Fomatic, that is an interesting thing you're bringing up there.
Well, it's not a Pace Fox situation though, because Poles did not have to be talked into hiring Flus. He wanted Flus. This is if Flus doesn't work out, Poles doesn't get a pass the way Ryan Pace got a pass with Fox.
It was different, but I thought the Bears kind of made it clear to them that they liked Flus and would he be okay with it. Is that not true?
They I believe gave the list of guys they liked, but they also said Poles, it's your call, and that was the one guy they were in agreement. Was there some percentage of influence that, hey, this, if I'm Ryan Poles, it helps that ownership is aligned with me on this? Sure.
Yeah.
It's not the same situation.
And to the Super Chat's point, it was weird. Go find your GM. What are you doing interviewing coaches? That's ridiculous.
That's not how it works, though. Well, in Flus,
A 3-hour show.
Dan, what
teams are in the playoffs. You have to interview them the first week, and then you can't interview them again until they're done.
Lawrence, if I was talking
That's
right now.
how it works.
What would
get
be
your,
said?
then you're going to lose
They'd
out
be
on that
like,
coach.
What
Shut
they
up,
should
Greg.
have done,
You didn't have to race
We're
to
gonna
get
end
Matt
the show.
Eberflus.
Yeah.
what they should have done
Don't give me that look.
was fired people earlier in the season and gotten a jump start on everything.
There you go. Dan Wonderly.
Done.
$9.99. Don Wonderly. Eber Flush. You pay $10 to put Eber Flush. I love you. Let's hang out. We seriously owe you dinner for that. AR4B Ace.
I don't know why that
Love
made me
you.
laugh.
Hoge. $5. Hoge, have you added the Patriots field goal block to your playbook yet? You were the first person I thought of when I saw that play.
Yeah, you damn well sure I showed that to my kids yesterday. Not because we're running it, because I would expect every high school and college special teams coordinator in the world to be trying to run that now. It's not that easy. The one thing you got to realize on that play, the right wing didn't look at the guy. If he just looks at the guy, you can block him. So that's what I told our guys. If somebody tries to run that against that, just look, and then you block him. It was a cool play, though. I really enjoyed it.
Attention to detail. Hoge.
Yeah.
Hoge, defensive coordinator. Super chat $1.99 from Rhodey.
Rodimus Prime.
There it is. Why do the Bears do everything backwards? Draft a QB, then get a head coach, then hire the GM, then hire the BP? Anybody?
Nope, make it up.
President?
Hire the GM.
Build a defensive secretary when you have a franchise quarterback, then get receivers and no defensive or offensive line.
There's a funny thing about the B on the keyboard. It's next to the V, so the VP is probably what they're going for.
VP, right.
Yeah.
Good underlining of this dysfunction there. Renetta, $2.
I can't figure out abbreviations. I can figure out typos.
Signed DJ Fluker. He played left tackle before. Sure, why not?
I don't care anymore.
Bunk melanoma. That's amazing. $1.99. All I'm saying is Jeff Saturday has head coaching experience.
That's right. He didn't have it last year, but he has it now, damn it.
And Bear Down Omaha, my favorite, $2. T-minus 5 days till we're for Trestman. Send help. And then Gary Ross, $4.99. I'm starting to be as bad or worse. Is this starting to be as bad or worse than the Trestman era? That's the first time we did.
Sorry,
Gary, you get 2 for that one.
Double dip, Gary.
Circling back,
Yeah.
as the resident Mark Trestman era expert here, having lived that life, there are vibes. There are Trestman vibes. I am hopeful that they can be turned around. I like what the quarterback said today. If the coaches get on the same page, if they can just not get there, I think we'll know Sunday.
He said, "You'll see. Show me."
Yeah, honest to God, we'll know Sunday. Do they look competitive? Do they play the Chiefs like they at least played the Eagles and the Bills last year in December when their roster was way worse? That'll give us better idea. If it turns into a blowout and it's ugly and you got guys tearing their ACLs celebrating a sack on Jimmy Garoppolo when the game's over,
Yeah.
Then we'll know it's going the other way.
When Trestman was the head coach, I remember going around the locker room and asking players if they had ever seen him without his hat. And they would just look at me like, "You're not allowed to ask me that. That's ridiculous." Because I thought,
but no.
I didn't like that guy either.
Yeah, they could have just
Actually, it wasn't even dislike. I just thought he was weird. Does he sleep in that hat?
They could have asked Eberflus today, why weren't you wearing a hat in Tampa Bay?
Right.
It was a little hot out there.
Can we hook you up with one of those big hats to get you out of the sun there, buddy? In your 50s, they don't want you getting that melanomas. All right.
Another super chat. Hey, Braggs, I live in St. John. Is there any bars where they offer Bear game packages? Like every bar. Yes.
Every bar.
Yeah, I mean, every bar you go to in Northwest Indiana is going to have the Bears game on. I can promise you that. A lot of them do, like, all you can eat and all you can drink, or all you can eat at halftime.
And when he goes there, he gets there at 8 in the morning. He's in the parking lot, and you're hanging out until game.
Oh, now I'm with you. Living the dream.
I was kind of hopefully he was talking about St. John's in Canada.
All right. Hey,
in Labrador.
A great show. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I appreciate everyone.
Gushu and the top curling team in the world.
Oh, I do appreciate everyone smashing the like button today. As soon as I said that,
post-game show.
Thank you so much. Much
When does
appreciated.
curling season start, by the way? That's the only thing that's going to save me.
Ice. Got to get some ice out there.
All right.
Hoge from Hell is tomorrow, which is going to be awesome. And
Got some gambling tips tomorrow. Little look from the KC side of things.
I might get up and sit on Braggs' lap in the middle of the show.
No, he will not.
Poppy the puppy's getting a haircut. I got to go get her. We got to go.
Okay. That's definitely the longest Wednesday show we've ever done, but it was warranted. We started early. We appreciate everybody being here. Get those likes over 1,000. Come on, we got 26 more to go. Just hit the like button right now.
Hit the subscribe button, too, so you know when we're doing shows. We really appreciate it.
AllCHGO.com/diehard is where you become a diehard. Check out the merch you see on your screen right now if you're watching on YouTube. CHGOLocker.com. We appreciate you guys very, very much, and we'll be back tomorrow at noon. Talk to you then.